Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. I love you all. My name is miahtheking, and want to hear a funny little tidbit? A shrimp's heart is located in its head. Anyway, thanks so much for clicking on my video, and I hope you stick around. If not for the funny jokes and tidbits at the start of each video, then perhaps because I can help you figure out if you need a game in 10 minutes or less. So stick around and find out. Today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam called Captain Blood. I know absolutely nothing about this game other than my jumping into it, and I gotta say, by looking at it, it really feels like I'm looking at a game that I used to play on the original Xbox. But this one had a delayed launch and could even be considered questionable, and it looks like this game was supposed to release like 20 years ago or something like that. Like, I don't know the specifics, but that's just what I've heard online. But anyway, it's here now, I guess. So, developed by Seawolf Studio and General Arcade and published by Sneg. Just Sneg, or I guess S-N-E-G, I don't know. Released not in early access and selling for $25. So why am I even looking at this game? I'm sure that's a very interesting question because, I mean, look at it. Well, it could be because it reminded me of Sid Meier's Pirate, which I was obsessed with growing up and wanted and hoped to explore more of, or it could be because it has graphics similar that almost identical to the original Fable, and let's face it, guys and girls, every day I look through Steam and I am desperate to find the older games from my past, because gaming just doesn't live up to what they used to be. I'm still looking for Coliseum, Road to Freedom, Mercenaries, and Mercenaries 2, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 10, and I could keep going. So when I see a game like this, it does pique my interest. But what even is this game anyway? Well, it's nothing like any of the games I've mentioned earlier. You play as a random ship captain who you can't pick or customize, and you're sent on a mission to rescue some dude's daughter from the opening cutscene who happens to be hot, so she's obviously going to fall in love with the main character. But yeah, that's pretty much the game. Like, it's a linear level-by-level hack-and-slash game. But does it have any depth to it? Well, let's find out. But I find myself at a weird standstill for this game. Do I review this game based on the standards of today, or do I review this game on the standards of yesterday? Who knows? So, since I can't really do it justice by reviewing it by today's standards, this review is definitely going to be different from my other ones. There's no pros or cons for this video. I'm just going to combine them all into one long rant. To make a long story short, if I were to review this game when it was supposed to release in its original timeline, I probably would have given it average marks across the board. Average sound, graphics, gameplay stability, creativity, originality, depth, and I could keep going. But for right now, for what this is today, these are my thoughts. In terms of gameplay, it's below average overall. It's level by level, which means it's linear with zero exploration, and you get a grade of how well you did at the end of each level, with zero input or choices from the gamer at all, filled with QTE segments. It's a hack and slash very similar to the original God of War games, with kill animations that you can activate at will, the exact same attack animations from you and the enemies, with the exact same enemy types recycled over and over again but with a different skin. The only differences here are the bosses that you'll fight or the levels you'll walk through. Otherwise, it's just the same thing recycled over and over. Now, I will say that the level designs were at least interesting enough for the first, I don't know, I got through 5 levels, I think, and they were different enough and they were interesting enough, so I will give them a little bit of credit there. The level designs actually weren't the worst I've ever seen in games like this, and I'm sure they're going to get better and better over time, but yeah. I have a lot of issues with the gameplay as it shows no real depth or creativity in its design. Even God of War allowed you to upgrade your weapons and skills, but I don't really see that here. Mind you, I'm already 5 levels in, taking about an hour of my time to get through those 5 levels. So if I had to guess, I'd say this game is probably maybe 3 hours long total. Maybe more, maybe less, depending, but that's just an estimated guess. I doubt there's a lot I could unlock that would significantly change the gameplay style regardless, which is a problem. It's very boring. Walk from point A to point B, slashing at the same enemy types and using the exact same combos or execute moves over and over again. You'll randomly get a side thing like shooting a cannon at incoming ships or whatever, but it was poorly designed as well because the enemy can bombard you, which knocks you off, or they can just sneak up behind you and hit you, which knocks you off. And the entire time you have your crew just repeating the exact same freaking thing over and over and over and over again. To make a long story short, the gameplay itself was bare bones basic and boring. As for the sound design, it was pretty bad too. First of all, the sound effects and music are way too loud, like the balancing is awful here. Couldn't hear anything anyone was saying in the opening cutscene and you couldn't change it before then. Or rather, you didn't change it before then because how are you to know?
Say your prayers. We're gonna put your throats off. Woman, by now you're dirty out.
And it doesn't get much better afterwards. Even after going into options and adjusting the volumes, it was still very imbalanced. And I can't put on subtitles, by the way. There's no option for that here in the game, so I'll just never hear what any of these people said for basically my first hour of gameplay. But regardless, the sound effects sounded subpar, as did the music. Oh, and there's barely any options available in this game at all. I just wanted to point that out, but Moving on. The user interface actually wasn't too bad. It wasn't awkward or ugly or annoying. It's not really super important for a game like this, but you still don't want it to be stupid, and it seemed to do its job just fine here. Same with the tutorial. It wasn't much, but this game doesn't really require much, so it actually fit and worked well. Not the best tutorial, but it was done in line with story and through actions and with specific lines telling you what to do without being overcomplicated, thus actually allowing you to learn the gameplay a bit while learning the gameplay as you play it. Make sense? I feel like the price tag is a bit much, but not by much. Overall, the price tag probably should have been $5 cheaper, at least in my opinion. We're talking a super old school game here, which does nothing to improve or build upon the genre or game type at all, so why pay so much? You'd be lucky to sell such an older, out-of-date game for $20, if I'm being honest, but whatever, still too much in my opinion. And then you've got the writing. There's no real anything here in terms of the story or writing. It's a classic cliche of hero goes to rescue the damsel in distress whilst falling in love with her, most likely. It's old and tired, much like this game, but the writing is also kind of off when you get to scenes like this.
Trust me, Captain, it shall be worth your while. I promise 1,000 gold coins for her safe return.
A handsome bounty, but this ain't no pleasure cruise.
I know it would have been hard to hear, but you did hear, right? He said 1,000 gold is a good bounty for her. But in those first few missions, I collected over 10,000 gold. So how is 1,000 gold considered a lot of money to you? Like, bro, you just killed 300 other pirates and took over 10,000 gold from their pockets. $1,000 should be an insult, bro. It just didn't make any sense to me. Also, I love how you chase this girl to some island held by other pirates like it's their stronghold. And as soon as you get there, there's like already people fighting in it. Like who are these other guys? In the cutscene before this, I told my guy to stay on the ship, so who are they? What are they doing here? And then you've just overall got the lack of depth in this game. With graphics like these, with today's gaming technologies, I was really expecting a lot more depth to the game. I thought this game was going to be more like Sid Meier's Pirates, but with gameplay and graphics similar to Fable. Now that would have been an amazing fucking game. But no, this is as old school bland as you can get. What you see is what you get. It'll offer you nothing new or innovative, and with gaming the way it is today, that's a damn shame. I could legit keep going, but I've gone on long enough already. As I said earlier, if I was to rate this game way back when it should have been released originally, I'd probably have just given it average scores. You know, not bad, but not great. But today, well, I don't care if this game was meant to release this way because of, you know, it was designed way back in the day, but with today's technological advancements in terms of video game design, even if they didn't want to improve the graphics or something, they still could have added in more aspects to the depth or the overall gameplay. They could have at least ironed out some of the bugs and glitches or something. There's so much more they could have done with this game. They could have taken the base game and they could have started adding things to it to make it a bigger, fancier game with already having a base laid out for them, thus cutting their workload in half, and they could have given us something amazing. And the only reason why I could think of to release it in this fashion at this point in time was this. The game was already done, sitting on a shelf somewhere gathering dust, when someone randomly came in, saw it, and said, hey, did we ever make any money from that? Did anybody ever make any money from that? No? Okay, well then let's just go ahead and sell it as is to make a quick buck. And that's what they did. I think that this was a big waste of my time, and honestly, I just don't see the appeal. The time for games like this is done and in the past. But even if it wasn't, it still doesn't stand up to other games similar to this that were released in the same time frame. By today's standards, the game is shit. By the past standards, it's only average. So that's pretty much all I got to say about it, everybody, and that's all I got. So yeah, my recommendation obviously is probably just to walk away from this one. If you're looking for an open world RPG, if you're looking for an RPG at all with pirates, this isn't going to be it. If you're looking for a good hack and slash game, there are tons of them out there that are better than this. So yeah, I don't recommend this. Just don't even bother. But thanks so much for clicking on my video, with a special thanks to those of you who stuck around to the end. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.